guys, some of you will remember this vision that I had last year. Um, that he showed me this power outage that happened in Connecticut last year that came true a couple weeks later. And I just realized last night that not only did this happen last year, but it happened again exactly a year later with Hurricane Sandy. So let me just let me show you a clip from this vision so you can understand what I'm talking about. Okay. So, what happened was he showed me this on October 13th, okay, 2011, and then a couple weeks later they had that early snow in the Northeast, and then Connecticut was without power for at least 2 weeks. But look at this. I'm going to play this short clip of what this news broadcaster says. I want you to hear what he said about it.
Fred?
Oh my goodness, that is really incredible. This doesn't happen that often, this part in October, that's for sure. While a lot of
But
folks
you know what?
Yeah, go ahead. What?
This is the 20th anniversary of the perfect storm. So it does happen. In the perfect storm, we had a hurricane involved as well. No hurricane this time, but snow like this in the perfect storm 20 years ago today. At least.
So, he's talking about that 1991 nor'easter that happened October 28th through November 2nd, 1991. That was a hurricane. So he's saying that that happened exactly 20 years before this early snow. But then now we know this year that not only that, but 1 year later we had Hurricane Sandy at exactly the same time. So now I realize that he wasn't just showing me a vision of some stupid little power outage that happened a couple weeks later. No, he was showing me some kind of trend, some type of pattern, that it happens in 2011 and then exactly a year later we get Hurricane Sandy, which was a worse situation. So it seems like, okay, in 2011 we had the Connecticut power outage for 2 weeks, which was 2.5 million people, I think was the number. And then we had exactly a year later 8 million people without power for at least 3 weeks now, I think, if not 4 weeks. They're still out of power in Long Island, New York, and they're living in like FEMA camp. They're living in like prisons that have been converted into FEMA camps. I mean, it's really, really bad. So I stopped and I had to think to myself, wait a minute. Are there any other visions that he showed me? Are there any other things that he showed me last year that came true this year? And there was. There were two. There was one other one. I had 3 important visions last fall, and I uploaded one of them, the one I just showed you. I partially uploaded the other one, and I did not upload the other one, okay? So there were 3 visions he showed me. All 3 were fulfilled last year, and 2 of them have also been fulfilled this year in 2012. Some of you guys will remember last year I uploaded a video on September 16th, 2011, and it was the We Will Rock You song that Queen put out in the 70s, and it was that music video from the 70s. And what had happened was he had shown me a vision a couple of days before that where he was stomping and clapping. So stomp, stomp, clap, stomp, stomp, clap, stomp, stomp, clap, stomp, stomp, clap. And I knew because I was a cheerleader in high school, we used to do that all the time. We would sing the We Will Rock You song. It's kind of a common thing at sporting events. So I was a little embarrassed about it, and I didn't want to tell you guys that he'd shown me that, so I kind of tried to go around it without really telling you what he showed me. It seems stupid now, because now I don't even care what people think. But back then, I just was embarrassed, so I didn't want to tell you. So instead, I just uploaded that music video. Well, then later, YouTube ended up blocking the music video, so that's not even in there anymore. But some of you guys will remember that. So he showed me that on like the 14th or the 15th, and then on the 16th I uploaded the video, and on the 17th, Occupy Wall Street started. And this ended up being a global movement that has lasted a year. I mean, they're still doing it a year later now. I remember he had said, Occupy till I come. So there was some kind of connection there, right? The Occupy movement. He said, Occupy till I come, and they're still occupying now. So I thought to myself, okay, was there anything in 2012, exactly on this date, that is even more important than the Occupy Wall Street movement? And sure enough, there was. The Feast of Trumpets started September 16th through the 18th. It's a 2-day event. It starts on the evening of the 16th until the evening of the 18th. It's the Jewish New Year. It's the beginning of the year. And the reason it was so important this year in 2012 was because it was the fulfillment of Daniel 12:12. Remember, Daniel 12:12 said that from the time the oath of office is taken, 1,290 days after the oath of office is taken, the idol of terror will be placed in the hallowed fortress, and 13 and 35 days after that will be the blessed day. So we saw that this year. We saw 1,290 days after Obama took the oath of office in 2009. We saw the steel beam that he signed placed in the One World Trade Center, and then 1335 days later it was the Feast of Trumpets. So this Feast of Trumpets, God's Feast of Trumpets, Leviticus 23, God's feast, God's appointments, the Feast of Trumpets was very special in 2012. Okay. But then, so I realized, okay, there's a pattern going on here. He shows me a vision, then it's fulfilled that same year, and then the next year it's even stronger, it's even more important, it's even worse than the first one. He shows me a vision, and then the following year it's even more important. There's one other vision he showed me. He showed me, and I'm going to draw a picture right here for you. He showed me a Christmas tree last year. And he was next to the Christmas tree, and I don't remember if he was kneeling or standing. I can't really remember that. But he was crying. I remember that. And I saw all this charred ground everywhere, all around. Partially the tree was charred, and I saw that there had been a fire, but I didn't know what it meant. I had no idea what he was showing me. And unfortunately, I didn't upload the video. But then I saw... and then I saw the news on Christmas Day last year. There was a fire in Connecticut, the same place where that power outage had happened, the same place in Connecticut, maybe not the same town, but the same state. And then this happened.
ABC's Lindsay Davis reports on the investigation in the New York suburb this morning of Stamford, Connecticut.
There probably has not been a worse Christmas day in the city of Stamford. The 911 calls came in just before 5 a.m. The Victorian home of well-known ad executive Madonna Badger was engulfed in flames. Badger and her male friend, her contractor, managed to escape from the first floor.
I heard somebody yell, "Help me, help, help, help me."
But trapped inside, her 10-year-old daughter, her 7-year-old twin girls, and her parents.
The woman, I heard her say, "My whole life's in there."
Badger climbed onto the roof, desperately trying to break her daughter's bedroom windows, but the flames had spread too quickly.
It's never easy, that's for sure. I've been on this job 38 years. Not an easy day.
Badger is credited with those famous Calvin Klein underwear ads starring Mark Wahlberg and Kate Moss, and was a founding partner of a marketing firm. Relatives say she recently divorced and moved from the busy city to this affluent suburb, renovating the $1.7 million home for her family. Fire officials aren't blaming the renovations for the fire, but it could take days to determine what is to blame. Damage is so extensive, it's not safe for investigators to enter. For Good Morning America, Lindsay Davis.
So that makes me think, and I know that it's not proof for you guys because I didn't upload that video last year, but I did have that vision before that house fire happened. I couldn't understand why he was showing me that. But now I see the pattern, and I see that first he showed me Occupy Wall Street movement, and then in 1 year later, the Feast of Trumpets happened. Then he showed me the power outage in Connecticut, and then 1 year later, Hurricane Sandy. And then he showed me the house fire in Connecticut, and 1 year later is Christmas 2012. So I don't know. I don't know. I'm not saying that I know something's going to happen. That's not what I'm saying. But I'm seeing a pattern there. And, it appears that, exactly 1 year later from what he showed me, there was an even worse event or something much more important or even, more horrendous. So I'm thinking a fire, but something worse, maybe a bomb, I don't know. I just don't know. But here's the other thing, and here's the kind of good news, I guess good news. And that is that, remember that in Matthew 24, the disciples had said to him, "When are you going to return?" And he said, "When you see the idol of terror placed in the hallowed fortress that Daniel talked about, then the rapture is going to happen, and then the great tribulation will start." He didn't say exactly when, how long it would be from the time that the idol was placed until the rapture happened. He didn't say that. But he did say that we would all go forth to meet the bridegroom, but the bridegroom would be delayed. He said that in Matthew 25. He said they're all going to go forth to meet the bridegroom, which we all did. We all thought maybe the rapture would happen right here. He said they'll all go forth to meet the bridegroom, but the bridegroom will be delayed. And then he said, "But then the bridegroom will return at midnight, and only half of those people will go in the rapture." December 21st is midnight. Every single year, December 21st is midnight. Why? Because we know that the Earth rotates clockwise when viewed south of the ecliptic. So south of the ecliptic, each of the months represents an hour on the clock. So January is 1 o'clock, February is 2 o'clock, March is 3 o'clock, and December 21st, the solstice, is midnight. So the other thing I just wanted to say is that the solstice represents Passover. It's not Passover, but it represents Passover, because remember that it's the longest day of the year, and it's the day that the sun appears to be at its lowest point on the horizon from the northern perspective, from the northern hemisphere. And then it rises again on the 25th. It starts to rise until in June it's at its highest point. Well, remember, Jesus died on the cross on Passover, and Passover is the day that the Lord passed over the houses of those who had the blood of the Lamb. I don't know, something's gonna happen, you guys. It's coming.